Hello and welcome to Head and Shoulders ATR, where we cover athletes' performances and always otherwise that are head and shoulders above the rest. Y'all seen the title of this one, right? Y'all seen the title of this one, and maybe some people came to another conclusion that wasn't there again with the title. But hey, you clicked it. Let's see what we're getting into. Now, look, many people are saying Elaine Thompson-Herah and, Shelly-Ann Fraser-Pryce here, Sharika Jackson on the shoulder and everything. But Shelly-Ann Fraser-Pryce, they should be, making more than other people that, don't win and everything, right? Well, is that supposed to be the case? Is a person that is more skilled than you, are they necessarily going to, make more than you? And what other areas in life, in sales, of course, the better salesperson will win. But in what other areas in life do we ever think things are quote unquote fair? Like, I don't even think most people expect things to be quote unquote fair. Because that would be more or less, I guess, fair. It seems like it makes logical sense. But you forget, many of you, that sports is about entertainment. And if you can't provide those entertainments, then you ain't gonna be doing anything. This channel ain't the fastest growing in its sector regarding track and field as compared to the analytics I'm seeing at other channels, right? At the size that we're at with other similarly sized channels doing what we're doing, we ain't the fastest growing for no reason. It is not just because of things. I keep it entertaining here. Remember that roast? I think that roast got me of when we were talking about shakari B. That's how we had named it right here. That one got me growing. That's the jump off point, not the Olympics, not anything like that. I saw more from that roast and then after people arguing about the thing than before that. And it's not even, actually, technically, my highest viewed videos are all dealing with either Brianna Williams or Shelly-Ann Fraser-Pryce. But what I'm talking about is that people started to pay attention and say, wait a minute, this guy is funny and he's kind of fair. And then some people just called me an idiot. That's just how things are going to go. Oops, I got demonetized for using the word idiot now. Oh, I'm crying. I have tears. But anyway, let's get into today's topic. But before we do that, don't forget our latest video was the World Record Watch. That's a 40-minute video. I know, just play it on 2x speed, right? Play it on 2x speed. If you can't understand my accent, put on the caption and read really, really fast. But otherwise, hey, look, a lot of y'all are in my live streams. They last about 2 to 4 hours, so y'all be fine. Anyway, that's one of them. And then one is talking about how fast can Richardson go. I just noticed my text is off on this one. I'm like, man, the animation is bad and everything. But let's get into today's topic. What is it? What happens if the big N, Trikey, decides to drop them? What if Trikey decides to drop them? Well, this isn't about that. That's a clickbait title. We're not talking about if Trikey decides to drop them. I think that's a highly inappropriate thing. But I thought about a follow-up, a part 2 about them not getting covered, and it's going to be something different. This is what I wanted to cover on the first one, but then I think I either forgot or it would have made the video too long. So without further ado, don't forget to kiss the diamond. That's the wealth, the subscribe button, like, comment, and most importantly, share. And I'd like to thank everybody that supports this via Cash App, Patreon, PayPal, and other methods. Let's get into it. So Shelly-Ann Fraser-Pryce here, as we covered in the Allyson, Felix, and Shelly-Ann Fraser-Pryce, will she be paid more as an American, may surprise you here, right? $4 million, right? Because people assume. The conclusion is no. I don't think she would be paid more as an American. Cost of living has to be factored in, so on and so forth. Quote unquote paid more. Track and field is international. American track meets barely want to pay anybody. Now, it's changing more recently, but historically they have not wanted to do that. So let's get that out of the way. But let's look at the net worth. Allyson Felix has an entire extra Olympics here, plus 2 extra world championships and a world juniors, as in U20 and U18, if I'm not mistaken. So she's got basically 4 or 5 extra championships under her belt ahead of Shelly-Ann Fraser-Pryce. Yet she only, quote unquote, as far as the data that we know, has $500,000 more. All right, she spent less. So Shelly-Ann Fraser-Pryce has been at the highest level, less time than Allyson Felix, yet she's almost at the same one. Okay, let's look at something else. Elaine Thompson-Herah. Oh, wait a minute. She's even younger and got less time than Shelly-Ann Fraser-Pryce does. And she has the same-ish net worth. Now, these are the best numbers that we can look up here, obviously, right? But, and it's not accounting for what they might have gotten paid this year, right? And maybe even up to about late 2020, right? But these are the best numbers that we got, even if they're equalized among the board. They're not going to be that much different. If Shelly-Ann Fraser-Pryce is making more money than Allyson Felix in the same amount of time, that means she's making more than her now. So we can use these numbers. These are good enough for us. Now you got to think, okay, cool. So maybe Allyson Felix because she hasn't gotten as many wins. But what about Elaine Thompson-Herah? And people keep saying that Shelly-Ann Fraser-Pryce is, Allyson Felix is more marketable and all of those things, right? Right? She's more marketable. I've seen her on billboards in Australia. Okay, cool. Marketable and money tend to go hand in hand. Maybe it's not. Maybe the Australian audience particularly liked Allyson Felix and there was a market over there in Australia. Let's just put that for the for our Aussie here that's in the crowd. Shout out to you guys in Australia. I think it's about 2 or 3% of my subscribers from Australia. So shout out to you all. I do try to holler at the, not holler at them, but shout out the athletes on here. So maybe it's just in the particular area in Australia that Allyson Felix was had a particular market in. That could be the case because not every territory is the same. But maybe it's this. Now let's look at Mo Farah or Mo Farah, whichever way we're going to pronounce that, right? Now, he has a $5 million net worth. Now, you see he's 38 years old. He's spent more time in the game and he has $1 million more. Now, he's in the distance races. Now, I think if he had the 1,500 under lock, he would have made even more. There's probably be like 7, 8 million, maybe even more, because that's just how it is. But he's been double world champion. He has no world records. So this is what all of these athletes have in common. No world record, except for the relays for Allyson Felix, but no individual world record. And at least for Mo Farah, there's no individual world record in a major, like, competed event. He could get them in the ones that are not run as much, like the 1 hour run and things like that. But he doesn't get them in the, the main competed events. He's a fast runner. Yeah, he's one of the, he's in that top rank list, right? But he's not quite fast enough to get that. So he's got double on multiple championships at the Olympics, world championships, all types of things, right? Now, let's look at some other stuff. Justin Gatlin. Now, he's gone through a little bit of being banned, so his is going to be stunted, but he did win an Olympic gold in the 100. And remember, I told you the difference between Shelly-Ann Fraser-Pryce. There's a point to this. Stick with me. I know some of you guys have a short attention span, but stick with me just a second, all right? Just chill out. Stick with me just a second. Now, he, got banned. Now, one of them was because of ADHD medication. That was a slip up by the drug administrations. That's why it was reduced and everything, and why he didn't have to serve that extremely long ban. That was there. And just like Simone Biles, she has that. WADA used to tell athletes to stop taking their ADHD medication like he was since he was 10. He actually stopped taking it because they had enforced athletes to basically stop taking it. Simone Biles does not have to stop taking it, and she kept taking it because WADA decided that's too important to not take. Now, that's very interesting, the difference in the years. So it's just unfortunate he got banned for that. The other one, we can't defend him on. Now, $3 million net worth. Usain Bolt, $90 million. But no, you know what? People tried to make an argument. And then this is the last background information for you guys before I get into the big hitter of what I'm about to say. Now, you notice he's got $90 million net worth. Okay? $90 million net worth. And he's doing businesses. Doesn't he have like 2 restaurant locations in Jamaica? I do plan on going to those actually. He's got Usain, his music brand or whatever. I'm just giving him free advertisement. Hold up, you ain't pay me, Usain Bolt. Let me stop that. Anyway, he's got stuff in real estate and all types of things he's doing. So, with that being said, people tried to make an argument about American athletes get paid more. And I'm like, okay, let's challenge all of you. If you think American athletes get paid more or they're high paid compared to Jamaicans, factor in the cost of living. It's because getting quote unquote paid more, the US dollar is stronger than the Jamaican dollar. So of course, on paper, you're paid more, but are you able to buy more things? Really? Are you able to buy more things? Does it equal out when you have it? Because people here work longer hours and then they have quote unquote more in the bank than other nations, but then they have less free time. Longer hours so that they can have more money. And it's mainly just some wealthy people that have a lion's share. Take them out and you see a lot of people don't even have enough for an emergency. They don't even have enough for 1 month of an emergency. 1 month in this country. Most people. That means over 50% plus 0.001, whatever it is, right? It is more like 80% of the country is one paycheck away. Now, here we go. They tried to make this argument with Bruce Jenner, right? Bruce Jenner, Olympian, gold medals, and all types of things, saying, well, he has $100 million net worth. And I'm like, I'm sure, I can guarantee this on my life. Bruce Jenner did not make that much money, as much as Usain Bolt, while he was an Olympian, right? He did not do that about winning a gold medal. He did not get most of this money from that. He did not do that. The guy is 71 years old, right? 71 years old and has a reality TV show and all of this stuff. And you're telling me $100 million for a 71-year-old former track Olympian to a 35-year-old man that he gets paid, what, $10 million a year at least on this. That means in about 2 years, he'll pass up Bruce over here. He'll pass up Jenner, right? So that isn't even equal. People be stretching when they make these illogical arguments just so they can argue. You could put facts in their face like I'm doing right now, and I guarantee you somebody's still going to go in the comment section. Now, they're going to do it just because I said it now, but people were going to do it even if I didn't say it. I'm going to say this right here, and then they're going to be like, or they're going to be off topic. Well, Shelly-Ann Fraser-Pryce could still beat Allyson Felix. What? That ain't even the topic. Now, on topic here. What's the difference between Elaine Thompson-Herah? Because Usain Bolt is like the Michael Jordan of track and field. He's opened the door for large contracts after him. So somebody like an Allyson Felix had one of those shh, 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 hush, hush. Same thing with Justin Gatlin. Shh, you can't talk about it. You can't tell anybody. No, don't tell nobody about this non-disclosure agreement contracts that they used to have all the time. You couldn't tell them about them. So that made sure that the contracts were low price. Only the agents really knew. And if that means you have the same agent as somebody else, they knew about the prices and then they can argue for them. That means you have the little agent crew and be like, hey, look, this is what we got for Michael Johnson. Maybe we can get this similar amount for you, but smaller because you're less known. And then we can argue later. That's how that was, right? Well, after that, because Shelly-Ann Fraser-Pryce came along that line. She was there right around that. So Usain Bolt really didn't get that big highlight stuff until, was it like London or just before London, right? But until that point, it still was hush hush. So here we go. Why is Elaine Thompson-Herah doing that? Oh, because she came after that. She benefited from it, just like Sydney McLaughlin. She benefited also from the higher contracts. She came out as one of the, I think, the highest paid straight from high school to a pro. That means she got higher paid than Allyson Felix in her first year, right? Although technically Sydney did compete, a semester, maybe 2 or something, a semester at college. But I don't even think she finished her whole year or something like that. Or maybe she did the NCAA finals after that. But essentially she went almost straight from high school to pro. She did a little bit in college. So let's look at this. What else is in here? So that's not the full thing. I'm gonna tell you like this: for the people that wanted to blame Trikey about all of the marketing that they did for, sha'carri B or Sha'carri Richardson, right? Y'all want to blame her and everything. Let's just tell you the truth here. You know what this came down to? You know what this came down to? Came down to let's do this. Here's the, right there. Came down to the money. That's what it came down to. Who's marketing? Track and field, by and large, I find it extremely boring. It stopped me from watching track and field for multiple years. Like, it stopped me from watching it. I watched the interviews, and now some of you will say, well, I find Shelly-Ann interviews entertaining. Now, just think of this from outside of your bubble for a second. Because sometimes we're in a bubble. It's just like a bunch of engineers, and they're like, okay, here's the calculation. And then they're over there, they're talking to each other, and then they talk to you, and then they're like, wait a minute, they're a little bit socially awkward. That guy's a nerd. That guy's a nerd. Well, you'll hear him, and then he won't be really, like, he won't have the same mannerisms. So yes, in track and field, or you being a fan or something like that, or something you take a liking to, maybe that's it, right? And maybe that's why Shelly-Ann Fraser-Pryce also is approaching Allyson Felix, because they would have had some similar type of agreements before, right? Because she didn't come after the Usain Bolt era opened up the door. Elaine Thompson-Herah kind of benefits from that. She came a couple of years later, so she did get to benefit from the more open door policy of, now you know how much they're paid. Some of the athletes, because some of them still under hush-hush for whatever reason. I would not do an agreement like that. People gonna know how much I'm paid, whether it's $100,000, 1 million, 10 million, whatever it is. I'm making sure people know, right? Now, and because when people know, everybody gets to bargain higher. What's another thing? So what does this come to? Well, they actually, it's the agents. It's the agents. It's the athletes. Whoever, if they're representing themselves or if it's an agent, it's up to the agents. That's where the sha'carri B commercials came from. That's where all of that came from. You guys, you just got to open your eyes right here. Now, I said it was boring and everything. Well, what does sha'carri B bring? Oh, drama, to the point where so many people talk about her more. And same thing with the Jamaican channels, as several people have commented below. They said, yeah, I noticed Jamaican channels talk more about her than they talk about Shelly-Ann Fraser-Pryce, Tina Clayton, or anybody else. I think I might talk more about the Jamaican athletes as an American than the Jamaican channels be talking about the Jamaicans. Isn't this ironic? It's like flipped around, right? You would think I'm talking about her all the time. And I will be talking about her more now, right? Now that I'm covering it more under a performance basis too, because she ain't opening her mouth and saying anything right here. So now I could talk about it when everything's calm and died down, so everybody don't get into that drama mode. I'm glad that's done. But it's up to the agent. The agent fought for Elaine Thompson-Herah to get these higher paid deals and everything. The agent fought for the deals right here for Allyson Felix and everybody else. That's the difference. That's the difference right here. They're going to say, my brand is this. You know why Usain Bolt only did soccer for a short amount of time, or as I would really just call it, football, right? Why did Usain Bolt do it just for a short amount of time? Oh, because they didn't give him the contract that he wanted. He said, hey, look, y'all can give me the contract that I want or else, right? He said, let's get the contract I want or else. And they didn't want to give it to him. So he said, middle finger, I'm out. You don't want to do it? Give me this. I'll do football. My name, my brand is going to bring you a lot of people just from me being me. And they said, well, his performances don't generate that much. That's like when Michael Jordan went to baseball or something. And he wasn't in the main leagues yet. But he was a very good player, as what they were saying. But that's just the difference. The soccer leagues or whatever, they didn't really want to offer him anything, and he said it wasn't basically worth his while to do it. So he said, hey, you know what? I'm out. I'm worth more than just what you guys are trying to offer me. So that's the thing. You take the deals that you think can be offered to you, and that's up to the agent. The reason why we saw so many commercials with Sha'carri Richardson And we didn't see as many commercials with Shelly-Ann Fraser-Pryce. Yeah, sure, it's Prefontaine. It's in the U.S. You're going to probably have a little bit more of a focus on the U.S. But what about on other times? Why was Sha'carri Richardson the headliner for Brussels when Elaine Thompson-Herah dropped out? Oh, because she brought the attention. Why wasn't it an Olympic bronze medalist like Shericka Jackson? Why was she not the headliner? Well, I can tell you this. I'm going to tell you where the money's going to go. And the money's going to go to this young woman right here, right? Whether you guys agree with it or not, y'all keep on saying, hey, money isn't everything. Money isn't everything. And then, but you enjoy that, you know, they're getting this prize money and saying that the athletes should get paid more. I mean, money isn't everything, yet they should get paid more. If that's the case, they should get paid less, right? Money isn't everything. Pay them less. That's basically what you're saying. Pay them less. When it's somebody I don't like, pay them less. When it's somebody I do like, you know what? They should be paid more. That's basically what you're saying. I'm consistent across the board. Whether I like the person or not, these people should be getting paid more as athletes because of the brands and recognition and the people power that they can influence. That's why they would get paid more than a teacher, for example, right? They're going to get paid more, or they would, in theory, get paid more than a teacher at the top levels because they have a following. That's what it is. And this is less about looking at the screen. I know some of y'all are like, oh, this is all the screens he bringing up. Yeah, it is. So it's less about the, like a teacher will get paid a certain amount because there are so many, it's dime a dozen teachers. Think about track athletes. There are so many track athletes. And I even did the math. I was like, is it really possible to start paying track athletes that much? Like really that much with so many different events? How can you pay anybody outside the top 10? Because if the majors for tennis, for the top 100, if you're in the 100th place, you get $75,000 for losing at place ranked 100. Well, how could you do that with track and field when there are top 50, top 100 in one event, two this event? There's 48 events if you include the marathon or something like that. So how could you ever pay the track and field athletes that much for winning a race or coming out? See, that's what makes it hard. Because even when I thought to host my race in the future, if it's $1 million race, I'm only going to do it for a couple of events. That's all. I'm only doing it for a couple of events. Or a few events, maybe 3, 4, 5 at most or something. I can't be doing that for all of them. You think I'm about to dish out $40-something million a year? Who's to say I got that much to even do it for 1 year in the future? No, that's not going to happen. And definitely, if I do something like that, I'm going to have sponsors and everything that help cushion the blow, so to speak, with that. But, yeah. So, I think that it's up to the agents. They're the ones that got to negotiate. It's not up to the company. They're there to make profit. Big N is a multinational corporation. They're not about to just be like, oh, we have favoritism to Americans. Oh, we love Americans. When they push in Eliud Kipchoge, which is a Kenyan guy from that dominates the marathon, right? He's a Kenyan man that dominates the marathon. And yet they're pushing him. They put him on commercials. I mean, we had Ryan Hall as a great American in the marathon. And yeah, sure, he didn't win as much, right? He didn't do as much. We got Galen Rupp, but they still gonna push Eliud Kipchoge ahead of Galen Rupp whenever the chance is. Because they recognize that, hey, look, here's the brand recognition. This is the branding he has. He's the first man and only man under 2 hours for the marathon. And so we're going to push that. We're going to push him. If there is an American that can stand on that standpoint, maybe they would if they were close enough. Maybe I'll give you that. Because if it's in the American market. And if you consume American media, of course your bias might be there. Do you listen to Europe where they talk slightly differently? My European crowd, let me know if you see anything different, right? Were there Sha'carri Richardson videos or commercials all over there? Probably was just because you were watching Prefontaine, and that's in the United States. I see a lot of local athletes on commercials when I watch European meets and they have commercials and it's on their program, like in Germany. I saw a lot of local athletes and a lot of athletes I didn't recognize from other nations in Europe when I watched the meet that was in Germany. It's just normal. So I just, that complaint is just confusing to me. But anyway, like I say, it's up to the agent. Elaine Thompson-Herah is going to make more, which I don't think many of you will have a problem with that, than Shelly-Ann Fraser-Pryce, because she simply has an agent that's going to fight for a better contract than Shelly-Ann Fraser-Pryce. She can have all types of sponsors and everything, but at the end of the day, if Elaine Thompson-Herah's agents are fighting for her to get paid more money and the companies go through with it, she's going to get paid more money. That's all it is. It's all a big fat negotiation. So that's what I got to cover today. Let me know what you guys think, if you agree or disagree. Because like I said, this title was more of a clickbait of a title to get your attention. Hopefully you guys listened all the way through and didn't, I know some of you guys were just going to listen to the first 30 seconds and then make a comment. I see it all the time. I see it in my analytics, and then there's a big portion of you all that listened all the way through. But there's still a sizable amount of people. It's going to go to 30 seconds, couple of minutes in, and then draw a conclusion off of that, right? They're not going to see the title, or they're going to see the title, assume what I'm talking about, and then comment based on that. And then you're wondering why they're just completely off. But whether you agree or disagree, let me know in the comment section below. You have been watching Head and Shoulders ATR production. Don't forget to like, comment, share, subscribe. And also, if you want to become a regular contributor, check in the description below for our Patreon, because that is going to be fun of these animated races that are still going to be coming up. I think I'm going to have that on a different YouTube channel. I've already registered that. I don't know if I want to tell you guys the name of that one just yet, but definitely consider becoming a regular contributor, because these videos are brought to you by viewers like you. And the Cash App is on the screen and in the description, as well as the PayPal donation email right there. Catch you all on the next one. Peace.